Are we live, boss?
We're live. Yes, here we are. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. My name is Dean, and we're all here, and it is all happening today. Alex Dayrabekov. Remember him? Remember our boy Alex? He's going to be by around, 4 o'clock. Alex Dayrabekov. We have a fucking big show today, dude. We got like Alex Dayrabekov live in Kyiv, Ukraine, as Ukraine starts their counteroffensive against the Russians, the occupiers, the assholes, the sheep fuckers, and they are fucking sheep, those Russian soldiers, by the way. I found that out this weekend. Bunch of sheep fuckers, those Russians. So we've got a video to play for you, too. But this big counteroffensive started, and Alex and I are shooting the shit on DM the other day, and I'm like, dude, we got to have you back. Have you had a break? He's like, yep, I had a good break. I had a good vacation. I'm ready to go. He's like, the Ukraine is on fire right now. We're all going to be fighting back. Everything's going well in the south and the east and the west. He's all fucking pumped. So I'm really excited to have him back later on today. It's going to be fun. Right around 4 o'clock, he's going to check in.
What I was going to say is I get asked, as far as guests go, reoccurring guests, I get asked more on social media like Twitter and Facebook. Hey, when's Alex back? I haven't seen it yet. That's awesome. Yeah, that's great. I'm glad perfect. Because he had
a vacation. Dude, he had a vacation last week. I'm like, you want to come on next week? He goes, no, man, I'm on vacation. I'm like, fuck, good for you. You're taking a vacation from the war? That's awesome. How do you do that? That's incredible. Anyway, so Alex is going to join us around 4 o'clock. We've got Olenka Lyle. Now, you may have watched on our feed today. We've got a couple of Bangarang podcasts. One of them is called Professional Insights. Great guys, bunch of professionals talk about professional stuff. They had this lady on today, and you were on with them for a few minutes, but you had tech issues. This lady, her name is Olenka Lyle, and Olenka Lyle does this procedure, champions this procedure for guys like you. And she's incredible. I watched the entire interview today, and I want to say this. We have a solution for your low-hanging testicles. Sorry, Locke, you wanted to say something. Go ahead.
I don't know if it is.
I think it is.
No, well, we can get into it with her. Let's wait till she gets in. I don't know if this is the fix for me. I don't know.
It might be. It just, you might require a few extra cc's. I know what you're talking about, right? Because when I was listening to the interview and I'm watching it, it's about turning your wrinkly nuts into plum-like, peach-like looking, round, smooth bags.
Save it.
Now, you have a length issue, but I don't know if you've got like a wrinkle issue. I will save it, but I'm really excited to have Olenka on today. She's really cool. Very cool.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love being the subject of podcasts about balls.
Yeah.
It's a highlight of my life. I'm going to journal it.
You should. I'm surprised you haven't blogged about it yet. Lachlan's Balls, Chapter 6. Anyway, she's going to be by a little later on. We got some of that. We got some Alex Jones news. Guy's back on his horse, which is fucking hilarious. We'll have a couple laughs about that. Ladies calling for the assassination of the prime minister. We've got that video later on today. That'll be a lot of fun. And we've also, if I'm not mistaken, stumbled into a couple of things I never thought I'd really enjoy. Like, I'm a hard stance guy. You know, one of those dudes, it's like, nope, never going to do it. Never going to try it. Not interested. Like, I'm the guy that goes back to the same place for the same clubhouse sandwich all the time because it's old safety, right? Like, it's one of those things that I have in my head where I'm not going to try new things. And I don't want to be a stick in the ass anymore. That's my new thing. I want to try new things. So today, I don't know if that's the term. The stick in the ass?
No, I think it's stick in the mud.
Oh, I don't want to be a stick in the mud.
I don't think you're supposed to put it in your bum.
Well, try new things. Like I said, who knows? But this morning, I dropped my son off at work, make my way back. I'm out of coffee creamer. I like this stuff called Silk Oat Milk. It's Silk. It's like a coffee creamer, sweet, non-dairy, but it still does the job. Gives your coffee a little bit of a taste, right? So I stroll into the grocery store, and what do I see? This is what I saw. Thanks for asking. Silk pumpkin spice coffee creamer. Now,
so this is where you lose me.
Well, I shit all over the pumpkin spice movement for a long time. And I'm listening to the radio after driving my kid. And they're like, hey, everybody, pumpkin spice season starts at Starbucks today. I'm like, fuck it. I'm going to get in on the pumpkin spice routine. I'm going to see how this goes. So I get a little jug of this. I bring it home. I put it in my coffee. And I'm like, Way to go, asshole. You just prevented yourself from the last 20 years from having this deliciousness in your mouth because you're an absolute prick about new things. Way to go. That's how I felt. It might have been, and still is, the most delicious coffee creamer I've ever had. And I mean that from the bottom of my coffee-laden heart. Oh, fuck, dude, it's the best thing I've ever had. It's the best creamer I've ever had.
I've had
and so I put out this note this morning, and I'm all into the pumpkin spice. Everybody, let's go. Let's go, pumpkin spice. I love it. Let's go.
You got a lot of anger, didn't you? Yeah. I
got
that.
mocked. People
if I would have seen it, I probably would have jumped in.
People were making fun of me, saying, when are you going to get your Ugg boots and your extra big scarf? People are like, ooh, time for a puffy coat season. And I'm like, no, it's just the pumpkin spice. Just because I'm not a hippie and I drink this, it doesn't turn me into a fucking hippie. I'm still me. I happen to like flavored creamer, and this is fairly healthy, although loaded with sugar, but I finally get it. It was like a fucking pumpkin spice light went off in my life, Lachlan, and I'm not kidding.
I've dipped my toe in because I was like you. I've been anti-pumpkin spice for years, and I have
just because we're pricks, though. You never tried it. Did you ever try it?
Hold on. I did.
Okay. Right.
Occasionally, I would. Like, I tried. The last one I remember was there was one pumpkin spice thing. You know, when you remember the product deliveries, like the radio station would get clients would drop off stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I mean with the intention that you promote their event or whatever. Like the most recent one was we had Dairy Queen, which is always everyone's really excited about that. It's Miracle Treat Days, so they drop off blizzards and then that's for a good cause, right?
Free ice cream.
And then you eat your blizzard at 8 o'clock in the morning, and you go on and you give them a little bit of the plug and tell everybody to go get a blizzard, right?
Yep.
So we had something dropped off. I don't even remember the company, and it was by accident. I grabbed one of the coffees, and I specifically said, I don't want the pumpkin spice. I don't like pumpkin spice.
Mm-hmm.
And I had it, and I'm right. I did not like it. And then somebody told me to try, because I was making fun of it, and they said, well, you obviously haven't had this pumpkin spice thing. And this was a couple years ago, and it was a Starbucks one. So I went to Starbucks and I tried it, and I don't know why I don't like it, but it's interesting. You and I have different tastes because
yes, most people do.
You go crazy about the buble or bubblies or whatever the hell it is.
Love soda water. Well, part of it is like, so part of my issue is I can't drink anything else. It's like I don't drink alcohol, which is a shame, but it's true. I might have some cannabis beer now and again, maybe a couple cannabis drinks here and there, like on a Saturday afternoon, Sunday afternoon, I'm barbecuing, that kind of stuff. That's as deep as I go. So like soda water is like my saving grace, right? Flavored soda water, get that little hint of grapefruit. I've got some lime watermelon, just ready to go, just on ice right there, right now. But when it comes to trying new things, I'm an asshole. Like, I'm one of those guys that's like, no, I'm not fucking trying it. We shouldn't. We need to stop being way worse. Way worse. Now I'm trying to be way better. Yeah. Well, Lynn's is a prick about food. He's just like, fuck you. I'm not trying to. He told me he was going to call the RCMP. Then he started making fun of me. Then he started making fun of everybody else that was like, no, leave Dean alone. And all of a sudden it turned into this sexist thing. Did you know that a lot of people get made fun of, specifically women, for ordering pumpkin spice deals, and they're fighting back? Did you know this? I want to be part of that solution. I really do.
I think it is a stereotype.
Yeah.
I think that because it,
like the pumpkin spice is a stereotype.
Well, it is a stereotype for a reason, because the girls in our office, whenever there's a new pumpkin spice thing that's being advertised, you'll hear them going, they go crazy for it. And so I think it is generally, I'm not sure why. And I don't get
women have a different palate. I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just it's the coming of the fall season. That's what people are saying it is. And I was doing some reading, and this is a true story. This woman sent this to me this morning. She's like, I want you to know that anytime someone makes fun of pumpkin spice, you're making fun of women. And I'm like, hang on. Pumpkin spice hate season is coming again. So here's a reminder from a historian. What we call pumpkin spice is just the classic English and Anglo-American sweet spice mix: cinnamon, sugar, ginger, cloves, nutmeg, cardamom, mace. It's been used in traditional desserts from apple pie to plum pudding. When did people start having a problem with it? Not sure. Not when women were in the kitchen putting it in their pies, but when women decided they liked it in their coffee and grabbed it on the way to school or work. So when you see people snickering about the pumpkin spice products this fall, remember what they're mocking: women choosing something for their own pleasure rather than devoting themselves to pleasing others. I'm all into that too. I'm all into that.
Okay.
I'm going to end sexism with one pumpkin spice creamered coffee at a time. Swear to God.
If you asked me, if you said out loud, okay, picture the person that's excited and is on their way to get the new pumpkin spice latte at Starbucks.
Right.
You have an image in your mind of who that person is. And
me.
They're probably driving an Acura, right? And it's probably an SUV.
7-year-old.
And she's probably wearing some form of Lululemon and also has plans to do a yoga class.
Healthy, good
a
for
yin
her.
yoga class before dinner. Yeah.
I want to meet this woman.
I like that girl. But that's the stereotype, right?
Yeah, I guess so. You know what we should do is ask a woman. We have one who's standing by. And she is a registered nurse. She works at this beautiful company called Clariderma. She was on a podcast with the guys from Professional Insights like about an hour and a half ago. And I'm like, we got to get her on the show. She does this thing called Scro Talks, among other things. Please welcome medical aesthetic nurse. I think I'm saying it right. Miss Olenka Lyle, ladies and gentlemen. Olenka Lyle is in the house.
Hi, guys.
Look at
Thanks
us.
for having me on.
Look at us. Great to see you. Weigh in on the pumpkin spice if you can. What's that?
Yeah. Oh, the CD wall. So I thought you meant like CD wall as in like dark, dingy. This is a seedy place, not like an actual compact disc wall.
Well, it is a bit of a
prior
seedy
to
place.
our conversation.
He's 65.
Yeah.
I love it.
I'm not 65.
He's close to it.
I'm an old
You
dude
should see his 8-track
CDs.
It's on the other side of the room.
He bought out Columbia. There's 99-cent.
Yeah,
CD
I haven't been able to get out of that deal.
You still buy it every month, 99 cents plus another $100. You can't stop doing it, and the CDs.
I don't even like
just got
Papa
Tom
Roach.
Cochran's Mad World.
Yeah.
Anyway, Lincoln, nice to see you. How are you doing? Can you do me a favor before we get to Scro Talks, before we get to what you do at Clariderma? Can you talk a little bit about the pumpkin spice, Team Pumpkin Spice, or no? Are you in the season or are you out? I'm
a one pumpkin spice a year kind of girl. Yeah, I love it for the novelty, and I get excited about it, and then I have it, and I'm done. I'm happy.
And that's it.
I'm happy.
Is it a gender?
Yeah, I'm happy with one.
Is it a gender thing? Like, is it a? Like,
are you nuts?
Okay.
No. Oh my God. When I worked in an office, like guys love it. Yeah, they would come to you. They'd be like, do you want to go to Starbucks? I'm like, yeah.
Under his breath. So his
but I do think that right. I think they need a girl. It like legitimizes. So I would say it probably legitimizes the dude getting the pumpkin spice for whatever reason. I didn't want
Olenka talk me into it.
It shouldn't be gendered.
Yeah.
But guys do. They love it. They secretly love it.
Yeah, they do. No, not even secretly. I'm singing its praises right here, Olenka, because I'm Team Pumpkin Spice. Yeah, that's the thing. I've had 4 of them today because I'm that crazy. Where you're like, hey, I had 1. I can only have 1 a day or 1 a week or 1 a month or 1 in a season. I'm like, I'll have 6 today and I'll have 6 more tomorrow because that's how I do things.
Is it classic? Or are you like an oat milk person?
Yeah,
do you change it?
Let me show you. Let me show you what I got. This is like life's life hack. It's called the Pumpkin Spice Soy Silk, but it's almond milk and it's healthier than the regular milk. Because my friend Ricky Romero used to pitch for the Blue Jays. Him and his lovely wife. I was on the phone with him one night, and we're just shooting the shit. And he's like, "Do you drink milk?" And I'm like, "All the time." He's like, "Get off it. Get off milk. You can't drink milk." And I'm like, okay, professional athlete. His wife was like the captain of Team Canada's soccer team, one of the most legendary soccer players ever. I'm like, well, they know what the fuck they're talking about. So I got off milk and I started to get on that stuff in my coffee, and I haven't changed. It's like just been this eye opener. And when I saw the pumpkin spice, I just wanted to endear myself to every hippie and female that drinks it.
We are a fan of flavored creamers in the office.
Yes.
All of them.
Yeah, you should be.
I don't do the flavored creamers at all.
You
Never
don't?
have.
What do you put in your coffee?
Gets you through the day.
Cream.
Yes, cream and sugar. Do you put sugar in it or just cream?
No. I actually have a little bit of chocolate every day. The wife will buy me like a candy bar or like a bag of Score, whatever, like, and she'll put it in the cupboard for me. So I'll have a little chocolate, but that's that I try to control my sugar. I think sugar is a bit of a devil. It is. And again, that's me. I also have a wildly addictive personality, so I have to be careful. And so I have my one vice. I still drink, and then everything else is going to kill you. So, including booze, apparently now you can't have more than 6 drinks in a year, or you're going to dick's going to fall off.
Obama.
Yeah.
Anyway, so pleasure to have you, Olenka. Really appreciate you weighing in on the pumpkin spice details. I thank you very much, Team Pumpkin Spice. Now, what is it that you do at Clariderma? Take us through that real quick, because I might have to come and see you for a whole bunch of other stuff, but this is your business. You're one of the folks down there. You're a medical aesthetic nurse. So explain Clariderma, explain what you do there, and then we'll get into the fun stuff, the plums, if you will.
The plums. So Clariderma, it's myself and my amazing business partner, Alicia. And we do everything skin related plus, which is the Clariderma plus part of it. So it started just because the two of us really kind of couldn't find a place that didn't feel closed off, pretentious, if you will, that didn't kind of cater to what we needed. And we both had skin issues, and all of the girls that we have had some kind of skin issue, and we just wanted it to be accessible. So you might not think that Botox and filler are, particularly skin issues, but it is a small part of our business. We do a lot of acne scarring. We do sunspot removal, sun damage, beautiful facials that are both medical grade, so they do something and feel amazing, because some of our girls give the best head shoulder massages, so there's always that bonus. And we just really are there to kind of break down stigma to what medical aesthetics can be, and be a bit of a gateway to maybe some other referral services, things like that. I just finished the nurse practitioner program, so I am a newly minted NP coming soon. And we see people way more often than their family doctor does or their family nurse practitioner. And sometimes it's really nice to be able to then refer to a dermatologist. For example, if we see something that we think needs to be screened by a derm, or if someone doesn't have a family doctor or a primary care provider, then we can send a referral for something if something needs follow-up. So we do, kind of the whole gamut, from laser hair removal to hair restoration, or PRP for hair loss, tons of skin stuff, both on the face and the body, and then Botox and filler.
Isn't that exciting? So if you don't have a medical doctor and you notice you got something on your face, like I got something on my nose here, I should probably have it looked at. I can actually come down to you in St. Catharines, by the way, Clariderma Plus in St. Catharines, plus. How many pluses do you have in there? Couple of
we got one plus, but it stands for a lot.
Okay, a lot of pluses, but the one plus is the most important plus, because you can just keep adding pluses. It's just a whole bunch of stuff that you guys do down there. But so if someone doesn't have a family doctor, and there are a lot of people in this province that don't, and they notice something, they can actually just come to Clariderma, give you a call, and say, "Hey, can you check this out?" And you're like, "Yeah, we'll give you your referral. Come on in. We'll take care of everything." That's what you do there.
Yes, that is a small part of what we do, but yes, we can do that.
Okay. But you do everything, like hair replacement.
We do
hair replace. You do like do you do like the popping of zits, like the blackheads, where you get it right in there and like?
Yes.
Are you a popper? Are you a picker and a popper?
I am. Are you? Oh my God, 100%.
Me too.
Yes, if I could be half of what Dr. Pimple Popper does, I would be in my bliss.
I have a hard time watching those videos.
It is so great.
Oh, do you watch those on YouTube? Will you just sit there in like a Dr. Pimple Popper like rabbit hole and just go, "Oh my God, this one's a big cyst."
Yeah. Totally.
I'm the exact same way. Yeah, I can't stop watching it too.
Totally.
Yeah. I'm addicted to it. I know it's like super satisfying when they get it all. I'm like, wow, that's a lot under the skin. I had no idea that dead skin could look like that after 40 years, right?
Or ingrown hairs, right? You see like the
where they pop out and they're like Yeah, they're like 2 feet
Oh, they're so
long.
good. They're so
Dude, it is
good.
fucking awesome to watch.
You
It
guys
is
are both
awesome.
gross.
It's
Can I tell a quick?
even awesomer to do. Like,
Can
it
I have a?
is.
Can I tell a quick boil story? So when I was a kid, I was about 11 or 12, and I had this thing on my ass, and I couldn't even sit, and it was just above the cheek, and I think I still have a scar there actually. And
Come to Clear
Yeah,
this was 100 years ago.
Okay.
So I kept complaining to my mom, and so my mom phoned my grandmother and said that the kids got this thing, and my grandmother said, well, get a hot rag and then just squeeze it, and hopefully you'll pop it. And it was literally about this big. By the time she started to actually do something about it, it was this big. So we were in the bathroom, and she's got hot water running on the rag, and she's heating it up, and literally to the point where she's almost burning my skin. And then she goes, okay, we're going to try to pop it. And you could see there was like a head on this bad boy. And it was like a corn. It was like a niblet. And she's like, this is going to hurt, honey. But I gotta give it a good squeeze. She literally put her fists together and she gave it a good squeeze, and it made a noise. I swear to God. And it shot across the bathroom, and it hit the tub and went ding. It made a noise on the porcelain. There was so much pressure, and there was this huge stream of pus behind it. Yeah. And I've never had a boil since. That's the one and only. I was my high school buddy, Jason Reniker. We called him Rectum. He was a farm kid, and they had like 20 kids, and his little brother had one. And I was over at the house for dinner, and his mom was like, we're going to pop this. And they literally, the whole family held the kid down, and it was on his back. And she was boiling mason jars. And I'm like, what the hell is going on here? And I mean, I swear to God, I wish we would have had should have videotaped this. They held this little bastard down on the kitchen table, and she pulled out this mason jar from the boiling water and walked over and put it on top of them and literally burnt them, but put it on, and it creates a suction, and it popped. And the corn flew up, the niblet flew up through the boil and hit the top of the jar and broke the jar.
No way.
Yes, and it sucked all the pus out of it. And that's how they did it. Yeah. My mom did the old fist thing, and he got the boiling mason jar. It was just.
Do you use boiling mason jars and fists down at Clariderma, Olenka?
You can hire me. I can do weekends.
We've retired those. You'll be nicely numb, and I'll use a scalpel. It'll be a lot.
Hold
cleaner,
on. So people come in with boils and shit like that?
Yeah, boils, cysts, right? Little epidermoid cysts, all that stuff. Yeah,
dude.
Because usually they've tried squeezing them a bunch of times. Like, we are not the first place. Like, they try themselves, or they get someone to try and do it, and they just don't come out, right? So yeah, so you can really feel them under there. And we just numb around it. Usually doesn't take long. And then just like Dr. Pimple Popper, right? Just open that little piece, get it out, and stitch it up if it needs a stitch or two.
Yeah, dude, it's like science. If you're a pimple popper, if you're one of those people that like listening to you, I would have loved to have been there while Deb was like creaming your back. I would have loved that because I'm one of those guys who watch those videos and I'm like, wow, that's unbelievable. Let's watch like 40 more. So you do that for a living, Olenka. Like, that's what you guys do at Clariderma. If someone's got a huge blackhead that's like right here, you can go in there and they'll take their cool tools and they'll pull something out of you that you're like, hey, dude, that's science. It's the human body's incredible. Isn't it?
It's awesome. It's awesome.
Right? Yeah.
And you know what? Sometimes people don't notice that that's what it is, right? And it's usually not like huge stuff, but someone will come in for a facial and we'll do extractions, and they'll come out and they'll be like, man, I didn't know that was a blackhead. I just thought it was a sunspot or something, right? And they're so grateful. It's just it's so cool.
Yeah, and it's aesthetic. So there's an instant like gratifier there for you and for them as well, which is wonderful. So Olenka, You're
I
on
do all
the
this stuff
professional.
myself. Like I had
Well, I
an
do
ingrown
too.
hair on my taint for a while, and I let it go, and it got infected. But I had
Don't
to
let
get in
those
there.
go.
The taint hairs?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
they're
do
the
not
worst.
let those go. Well,
Yeah.
they can become infected, like you said, and they can do some nasty stuff. So don't let those go.
Have you seen any of that?
Yeah.
Yeah, you've probably seen it, haven't you? Yeah. Do you ever go like this when you see it? Do you ever go, ooh?
Olenka,
Only-
I've got.
only,
I need you
no,
to look
my
at something.
usual, my usual is like, oh, awesome, yes, amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
See,
that's
when
what,
you know you
my
love it.
patients love. They're like, I love when you say yes,
Yes,
because
that's
it'll be quiet, I'll be concentrating, I'll be like yes, and something will come up. It's awesome.
They're in happy baby.
Yeah.
I know.
Get in the stirrups. I've never felt so, and the relief that you'd feel after that
Oh,
too.
yeah.
I mean, yeah, you probably help a lot of people out. So let's talk about Scrotox. What is it? What is Scrotox?
Scrotox.
Yeah.
Scrotox is Botox for your scrotum. It's probably not new. It's probably just new to us. It's been around for probably a while. We use Botox in tons of crazy ways all over the body for different things in medicine. So I'm not surprised this has come around.
Like
But,
what? Like what? Like I know they use it for headaches. You use it for migraines.
Yeah, for headaches,
use it for
you can use it.
smooth faces, that kind of
Smooth
stuff.
faces, but for example, blepharospasm. So if someone's eye is twitching, you can put some Botox in so their eye stops twitching. If someone's had a stroke and their hand tightens in on itself, you can put Botox there to relax it. Kids for spasticity, like cerebral palsy and stuff like that, we can sometimes use Botox for as well in medicine. Sweating, obviously. So yeah, tons of stuff. Spastic bladder, they use it for spastic bladder. Lots of stuff in medicine. We
Who'd have
just
thought-
steal it.
who'd-
Aesthetics, we just steal it all.
I know. Who'd have thought botulism would come in so handy at some point, right? I mean,
Right?
seriously.
I know.
I have a friend who's
So-
a bad sweater, and he gets Botox in his pits, but he's got to go. He goes, I think, every 6 months or maybe once a year. I don't to get it because it dissipates, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
But,
yeah. So your body will. So to be very scientific, the botulinum toxin works on acetylcholine receptors in your body, and so your body just grows new little tendrils to get this neurotransmitter. So that takes about 3 to 4 months in muscles, can be a little bit longer in the skin. So if you're doing it for sweating, usually about 6 months or so is good. Sometimes mostly it's insurance companies that only cover it once a year, or people would probably go like at the 6 month mark for sweating.
Okay.
It seems off to me though to stop the body from sweating though. Does anybody ever have any concerns about that? Like I said this to my buddy.
That's the number one question.
Sweating.
But you are sweating. So we've got 2 different types of sweat glands in our body. So the ones that are under the armpits or in the groin, kind of the temple, the chest area, those are different. Those are apocrine glands. Those are different than your heat regulating sweat glands, which are pretty much everywhere on your body. So those ones are the ones that really control your body temperature. The other ones under your armpits and your groin and stuff, those are sort of your extra ones for any excessive heat that comes. So you don't have to worry. You're not going to sweat in other places because actually the cooling of the body is done through most of the sweat glands that are all over your body, not those ones.
I love learning. I just learned something huge right there. Thank you, Olenka.
Yeah,
Now, can we get to
I did not know
Scrotox?
that.
Because Lachlan, on a daily, if not weekly basis, talks about a couple of issues he has with his testicular region. One of them
I
is
mentioned it
something
earlier
called
on the podcast with
LBS,
the guys, and
as you know, long ball syndrome. He also, I don't know how you are with tautness, but explain Scrotox, who comes in, who gets it done, what's the purpose behind putting Botox in your nutsack, Olenka?
Yeah. There are a ton. You would never pigeonhole who comes in to get it done. So tons of different reasons. But what it does when you put it in and around the scrotum area, so it will smooth out your testicles. So your balls kind of have that rough, wrinkly appearance. Even more so if they tuck themselves up if it's cold. So I mean, Locke, if yours hang low, If you can time to and fro, that might be not your problem, but for the most part. So the Botox will smooth out the scrotum. So it'll smooth it out. And then if we inject the muscle that kind of helps to bring them back up when it's cold, then they hang a bit lower as well. And they look a little bit bigger because you're not getting that contraction of the testicles. Also, it stops the sweating. So guys love that because you're not getting bag leg. It's no sweaty balls. You're drier down there than you would be, you know, and then.
See, this isn't for me. I need something else.
Yeah, you need a tuck. You need like a ball tuck.
The sack jack is what it's called.
Yeah.
Do you guys do the sack jacks?
We don't yet.
Okay. All right.
If
you
we
know
bring
where
it
he
in,
can get a sack jack?
I don't. I'll have to do some research.
Yeah, by the way, don't Google that because
here's a picture of a guy getting it done.
You'll have to.
No. What's that? This is a picture of a dude getting it done. That's a picture of a dude getting scrotox. Does that look familiar? This is kind of the arrangement. Is that how it goes?
I mean, we could. I mean, usually guys are a lot less pain face because we numb. So you're nicely numb.
Yeah.
So it's not that bad of a procedure. You're numb. It's a very, very tiny, small needle. It takes the actual injection part is about 5 minutes.
Goes in the nuts. Needle goes in the nuts, or like in a vasectomy where it goes in the base of the schwanz.
No, so it goes in and along the scrotum. So you've got the two, so just a few points in and along the scrotum.
Okay, and real quick question: schwanz, was that a medical term? Yes or no? Do you use that as a medical term?
Yes. I mean, colloquially, we use it colloquially.
Girl, yeah, I like you a lot. Does it look like? Would this be a good example of what scrotox, the difference it would make if you took like an old prune and then you got like a plum? Like that's what we're talking, right?
Perfect. Okay. That's what you're talking. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. That's if we're talking scrotox. If you needed like a life lesson here, people, it's a dried out prune or a plum. I mean, it's one and the same. And if you get the scrotox, it has the ability to turn the prune back into a plum, sort of like turning the clock back in your groinal crotchal region.
Exactly.
Right.
Aging backwards.
If you're going to do,
problem is
if you're going to do like a skin example, this would be the same thing. It would be, you know, the paper mache on the right looks a little bit more like normal legs and ass on the left. Like those are just like loose examples, if you will, about what you're talking about. Correct?
Perfect.
Right.
Yep.
That's fascinating.
I just want bigger. I don't need bigger. Like if I came in and because I do have some wrinkle issues, right? But it's more of the dangling issue that I'm concerned about. And then if they're already huge, and that's not me bragging, they're already too big. So if you add the plumpness or the scrotox adds like size to them, then it's just going to be fucking out of hand. I won't be able to do anything.
It's going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot.
I can't ride a bike.
Yeah, you'll have to go up a pant size.
How many guys like Lachlan pull this whole routine when you're talking to them in consultation where they're like, so tell me about the Botox. Listen, I've got huge balls, massive rod.
It's not something you brag about. I don't have a huge dick. I have a fairly average sized penis.
Schwanz.
But I mean, schwanz. I have a fairly, like, listen, I'm not winning any awards. No one's going to be calling me up and asking me to go to, Hollywood to film a movie. But I get by. It's the balls though. So, but I do not need, I already have like this rather impressive, and one's quite a bit bigger than the other one.
I mean, we could even them out.
I asked the doctor about that. Because one is like,
even it out.
One's like huge. And he's like, nah, it's not a problem. One just works harder than the other one.
One works harder than the other one. Is that what he said?
Yeah.
No, why don't you get them evened out? That's what I think Alinka is saying from Clariderma Plus.
Because, there is this issue
in Burlington. Yeah, all guys do. All guys have the lopsided stuff. I wonder if women, I don't think that's appropriate.
Do they care? Do women care? I'll be honest, Alinka.
Do women care? Usually women don't care. I mean, women... what we care about is if the guy is happy with himself and he feels like he can perform, right? Like if the guy is confident, That's what women like. So if Scrotox is going to
Okay.
make you feel confident and feel amazing, then absolutely, you're going to perform better. So women are going to have a better time.
What's the
You know
average
what's
age of the
interesting about-
Scrotox recipient? What's the average age?
Kind of 30s-ish, 30s and up.
What is
Yeah.
someone doing to their
A lot of
balls
younger-
at the age of
a lot
30
of
to go have like reconstructive Botox on your nutsack? Like you got to be
Yeah.
yanking on that thing a lot.
No way. It's all based on your anatomy. Same thing if you're doing Botox in the face, right? You can be, 20 and have a, line in the middle of your forehead, right? Or you can be 60 and still look amazing. It's just genetics. Luck of the
Yeah, I
draw.
guess so.
And I think a lot more men are doing stuff like this, Dean. Not
Oh,
like take out
tons.
the Scrotox. I'm talking about what
Botox.
Alenka's company does
Mhm.
in general.
Mhm.
A lot more men are becoming I don't know what the word is for it. Is it
Aware,
a
I
thing?
think. Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah,
aware.
aware. We've seen a
It-
huge uptake. So we've seen a huge uptake in guys come in both on their own
Yeah.
and be willing to come in with a partner. So that still seems to be a little bit more of kind of introduction, I think, especially for guys who are maybe a little bit hesitant. They'll come in or their girlfriend will book them in for a facial or something like that. And then once they're in, they've got so many questions and they've had things with their skin or insecurities or other things like that they really just open up and have no idea that this was even ever a thing. So I think that in the broader scheme of things, that men are becoming more aware of what's available, whereas they always had maybe these questions, but there just wasn't an avenue or an outlet for them like there has been for women.
Yeah, and I think
That
it's
makes
totally
sense.
okay to like enjoy how you want to look, want to streamline different parts of
Yeah.
your body, want to like I
Dean
hate
uses
hair.
a face cream.
No, I use a nice Aveda face
See?
cream that's got tea tree
Amazing.
oil in it. I enjoy it. I put it on my face as soon as I get out of the shower. I feel like $1 million. But this is this is year one of me using
Pumpkin
face cream. When you
spice
talk
and
about
face
doing
cream.
I know I'm going soft. But when you talk about like the guy that just didn't give a shit and just kind of got by, never used face cream, you go to the dentist once every couple of years, maybe, you might have an ache or a pain and you're like, yeah, I'll give it like 12 weeks to go away. And if it doesn't,
Oh, you mean like a real
I'm
man?
that guy. Yeah. Like a real dude. I'm a
You're
But see,
limping.
that's the thing.
It'll
These
be fine.
real dudes are going away. Like that kind of idea of like the real man
no,
is going away.
Alenka, we know.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude,
You guys, that's why Dean's using face cream.
That's right. I got face
He needs to stay.
cream. I got pumpkin spice
Just
latte. I'm in
one
my
bottle
like,
of
give a
male
shit
face
phase.
cream at a time, and we'll degender the whole population.
But I mean, like Dean said, it feels amazing. So guys will come in and their skin will feel amazing. I mean, the girls give a great head, neck, and shoulder massage. What guy doesn't like that? Right? And then they leave.
Is that part of the
That's
deal?
part of the deal. Yeah. Come in
Do
for
you
a
actually
facial,
have
scalp massage, beard
do you actually
oil.
have any hair replacement that you think actually works, or is it all just snake oil?
So it's not snake oil, but it is maintenance. There's nothing that's permanent unless you go and get hair plugs, right? Or not hair plugs, but the newer hair implant techniques that they have. So what we do is something called PRP for hair loss. So PRP is platelet-rich plasma. We draw your blood, we spin it, and what ends up happening is the way that we spin it is that the platelets, growth factors, adult stem cells come to the top. They're kind of a gold color, and they're just really rich in nutrients, like I said, adult stem cells, and we inject that into the scalp area. And so for anyone who has male pattern baldness or is thinning, has some hair loss, we can help to increase kind of the longevity of your hair, grow some of the hair back if any of the hair follicles have become dormant. And so we have really good results with that, both for men and for women. And that just helps to kind of give you a boost, it helps to kind of push that timeline further back. And
so you gotta catch it before you're totally bald like him, is what you're saying. Like it's one of those, he's fucked. Yeah, he's fucked.
Not necessarily, but yeah. So usually we find people. We have people come in when they're, a little less along the way.
Just tell him he's fucked. Tell him that the only thing that's going to bring him hair is a surgeon that does great work like this. Just tell him that. Yeah. Cornrows on top of cornrows. Look at this, dude. This is next for you. The cornfield head of hair plugs. These were done in the 60s with a shovel, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I feel bad for guys that are so tied to that they've got some connection to their hair and their confidence. And I swear, because when I started to go bald, it was when I was about 27. I had my first kid, and I started to panic because I was like, holy shit, I can't do that. Like, I'm a child. Like, I'm a complete idiot. I can't raise a child. So I panicked, and I legitimately, I think I walked around in a complete daze for about 3 years, and my hair just fell out in clumps. But I never really had that. I was never really so connected to my hair that it affected my self-confidence or anything. Like, it was, I guess I'm losing my hair, whatever.
Yeah.
And
shave it.
But you know
so
what?
I just started to knock it down. A lot of guys, though, are really, really, they can't handle it. The hair
They
loss.
can't let it go. Yeah.
But for us on the other side, when we see them come in after they've had a few sessions and after they've started to see some results, like that's why we have the clinic. Like, the change in them, their personality, the way they present themselves, like we are therapists too, right? You're in for a session, you have an intimate procedure that you're doing with somebody. You shared with them about how much, for example, hair loss is meaning to you, how it's impacting your life. And then, over the course of a couple of months, they've gone on some dates. They've gone out without a hat on. Like, that part is awesome. Like, that part really is what makes the difference. Like, it just gives you that, okay, this is why I'm doing this moment, and that's the part, right? Whether you're a guy or a girl, that's what we try to, not sell, but that's what we try and do. That's what we do.
Is there any way that people could reach out to you, Alenka, and ask any questions if they had something that we talked about that they were curious about before they came down? Because I would be willing to bet that a lot, especially men, would be very self-conscious about taking that step to come and see you about hair replacement or whatever, like a skin issue. Because guys we're still, I'm all joking aside, except for face cream boy here. Men are very, they do quite often, that they're very self-conscious, and they don't want to admit that they need help, and they're just like, they're in their basements drinking it away, right? So is there like a web page where someone could send you a note?
Absolutely. So on our website, you can also book online as well. So claraderma.com. You can also book online too, which is nice and discreet. So we've tried to make our website really user-friendly so that most of the information is there for you to read. And then you can always send an email. There's a contact form. It goes to our fantastic girls at the front desk, Jess, Jen, or Deb. And then if there's something that they can't answer, they will always flip it to one of us. We do answer our DMs as well on @ClaraDerma on Instagram. And so you can always send a question there as well. But the book online feature is nice because you can look through the services. If there's one that you want, you can either book it right from there, or you can book a consultation. So our consultations are free. They are also always confidential. We are a medical clinic, so everything is confidential as well. And if you don't know what you want, or if you're kind of looking at a few things, then just come in for a consultation, and myself or any of the lovely, lovely girls will be able to help.
You're awesome. Thank you. I really appreciate you explaining Scrotox to us. Unfortunately, I think it like we had hoped it was a solution for Locke. Turns out
not.
he needs.
No, I need this.
He needs the sack jack.
Lift.
Yeah, he needs the ball lift. Yeah. Which is like, and if I said this to a friend of mine the other day about this very same topic, because he was like, man, he's 62, and he's like Lachlan, he's over 60, and whatever. And he's like, my balls are really low. I go, my buddy's balls are really low too. And he's like, I'm looking into surgery to get them tightened. And I'm like, yeah,
it's a thing. Sack Jack.
Yeah. It's sack, and he's like, there are places that do it. And I'm like, it's a big commitment. And he's like, I said, you've been married for 40 years. Why the fuck would you bother? Like, what is the point? And he's like, I just hate looking at him. Like he's like, every time I go to the bathroom, I'll look down and I'm like, getting old sucks.
That's it. Best reason to do it is for yourself.
Yeah. He's got a couple of dried prunes down there. Alenka Lyle, Clariderma Plus, Google them, have a look. St. Catharines, 300 Bunting Street. Is that correct?
That's right. 300 Bunting Road.
Bunting Road, my bad. If you have any outstanding issues, aesthetic issues, you want to go get some kind of consultation. Consultations are free. You want to tighten up your bags.
Mm-hmm.
You want to plump up your nutsack. These are the people. Yeah, absolutely. And guys, take care of yourself. It's not just a woman's thing, right? There's a lot of guys out there that want to feel good about themselves too. You're totally doing an incredible service, and even just being able to talk about it. Thank you so much for doing this.
You're very welcome. Thanks for having me on.
Anytime.
You too.
We'll talk
Take
to
care,
you soon.
Alenka. Nice meeting you.
Lyle from Clariderma in St. Catharines. What a
she's a
lovely
gem,
lady
eh?
Isn't she nice?
What a sweetheart.
Yeah, just happy, just shooting stuff.
I have balls,
literally helping them with.
I have so many issues on my I'm 52, right? I've got shit from being in the sun my whole life, and there, and I don't even think about it, right? When you meet somebody like Alenka, you go, what? Maybe
I'll spend a little time on myself. I just never understood that. Like, it's the same thing. My ex would always get nails and Botox and Juvederm and the lips and the face and the stuff. And I'm like, really? And then I remember one morning she overdid it. And she came downstairs and she's like, what happened to my face? And I'm like, oh my God, are you serious right now? Because she overdid it. A lot of people overdo it.
Was she at home doing the home stuff in her lips?
I don't know anymore. It's whatever. No, she's just
because I don't think that's a good idea. I think you got to go to somebody like
she did
Alenka and
she did. She got it done professionally. Yeah, but it was still overdoing it.
Yeah.
Like, it's like instead of waiting 3 months, she's like,
I thought you meant she was upstairs firing the shit into her. Like that's happening now.
Yeah, people are doing their own Juvederm.
People are doing their own lip fillers and crap like that, and then they come out looking like the Joker, and they're like, "What happened? I'm not going to be able to work at Mr. Sun."
You know, who I feel really bad for are guys that got those hair plugs in the 80s and 90s. Like, feel terrible for them.
And I worked with a guy. Who got it. When I worked at the Pan Pacific Hotel when I was going to radio school. The manager of the room service department was very bald and a young guy, and he was very self-conscious about it. And literally went away. It was like a long weekend, and he was gone. And then came back and had a full head of hair. And this was 1991, 92, something like that. I worked there for a couple years. I did overnights, and it was shocking to see. But he was one of those guys, and it's not a bad thing. It's just he had no self-confidence about he was crushed about the hair thing. But he looked like that guy that you see in the thing. You know what? And then there's a shot of him swimming, and he goes, "Look, it even stays in the water. I can go swimming." Like he got the full on pow the plugs. And he did. If you looked really close, he looked like a Ken Barbie, right? Like a
you look like a Cabbage Patch Kid. Like it's the Cabbage Patch Kid where you had the hair, the plugs that you got put into the Cabbage Patch Kid. And I pulled a lot of hair out of my sister's Cabbage Patch Kids when I was a kid. And then like when I got older, I saw guys with hair plugs, and I'm like, "Ooh, dude, you got the Cabbage Patch Kid haircut. That is incredible. That is awesome." Anyway, from bad hair to great hair. Maybe the nicest hair in all of Ukraine. Please welcome back to the program.
It's so.
Our correspondent just outside of Kyiv, Mr. Alex Dayrabekov, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello.
Hey, buddy boy. How are you?
Hello. Hi, guys. Hi, Dean. Hi, Lachlan.
Great to see you, my friend. You look so happy. How are you?
Well, you have to find some happiness in this shit,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do, and there is some happiness to get to, and there's lots of good things to talk about. You were on vacation last week. I was trying to get you on the show last week, and you're like, no, I'm on vacation. I'm like, holy fuck, this guy just took a vacation from the war. That is awesome.
Where did you go, Alex?
We actually went. Well, since that was the last week was the week of Day of Independence, and everybody expected lots of bombing, shelling, and stuff. We figured that would be better for us to be away from the capital. So we went like 200 kilometers away in the woods in a quiet place with a water pool. So
good for you.
So yeah, so little Artie had to swim in a water pool. Yeah.
Was it like a hot springs, like a natural springs or something, Alex?
No, it's just a regular water pool with.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's
like a house with a pool. You rented a house with a pool in the woods, and Artie, your 6-month-old, sorry, is he 6 or 7 months old? It's probably 7th, right?
6. Will be 7.
Yeah. So he went swimming for the first time. Did he like it? How did he do?
Yeah, he was like, first time he was like, what is going on? People, what are they doing in my bath? And why is bath so big? And then gradually he started like enjoying it and showing excitement.
Yeah,
and that was good because people who stayed here by Kyiv, they heard lots of, they heard some bombing, but it was absolutely quiet, calm, and peaceful there. And again, just to get away from it, we really tried to relax, read books, and start thinking, reflecting on what is going on.
Good for you. So you got out of the city, you got out of the craziness, and you got into the woods, and you had like a week's worth of mental respite, right? Which had to have been like super, super fruitful for you and your wife. And like, were you able to just kind of decompress a little bit, even though all that shit was going on around you?
Yeah. We wanted to stay away from the news, but it's not. It's not going to happen. Yeah, I actually told my wife, you don't read the news, I will read it and just, tell you what's going on. And, she was able to get away from that a bit, but because it's craziness from day one. Today is 188, day 188. Every day you read news like you go to work, no weekends, no days off.
Well, it's interesting. I just read this article, Alex, and it was written by a Canadian publication, and they talked about the anger index in Canada, and comparatively speaking to what we've done, what's happened to us in the past, Canadians are more angry now than we have been for a long time. And then they attribute a lot of things to it, like inflation. So the cost of living is going up, and there's the convoy, and there's other things that Canadians are dealing with, politics and division and blah, 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 blah. Right. But it's interesting. You always sort of put it into perspective. I have been trying to figure out why I get so anxious and riled up about certain things, right? And I'm looking at it from the perspective of, man, my life is really not that bad. Why am I getting so angry at this news story or this type of event? And then we have you on. We literally had this conversation this morning, and then we had you on, and you're taking a vacation to get away from possibly being bombed. So it's again, I hate to tell you this, but you're a touchstone. You're somebody who grounds a lot of us, and we've got a lot of regular followers of this podcast in this country. So it is so good to hear from you, and it just puts our little bullshit into perspective, right? Our bullshit existences into some context. So yeah. Just the fact that I'm sitting here convincing myself, well, maybe I'll turn CNN off for a couple of days so I can be less angry. Oh, Alex went on vacation to avoid having his whole family killed. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about. When you are at the war, you are really in the survival mode. Before the war, I was probably in the same state. I remember the stage of depression when everything was good. no, there was no war, but I was so much depressed. You know, I felt like shit. Everything was so good around, and I felt like shit. And now, now the war is going on, but I feel at times I feel really happy because
why is that?
Because remember this Maslow's pyramid, the self-realization, which is on top level. Although we are in a survival mode, we are thinking about our basic needs, and the future, the security level in Maslow's pyramid is under threat. We don't know what is going to happen tomorrow. But still, in this situation, you know, probably I was able to find where I can do this self-realization, because I'm still, we are still volunteering, not at the extent that it was in the first months, but still I'm helping people. I'm also looking for the witnesses of war crimes, where I use my professional skills. And by the way, I started to combine those two activities. For example, a week ago, there was a bombing at Chaplin in Dnipropetrovsk Oblast. That was just on the day of independence. And I actually found victims of those bombing. People had their houses ruined. Some of them are completely ruined, and some of them had just broken windows. But if you look at those shitty houses, they are like really sheds, not houses. They're really old, and the people need to replace their windows. And I'm helping them to replace windows sitting here in Irpin. I'm helping them to replace windows, and at the same time, I'm looking for eyewitnesses who can, give us evidences or testimonies for the international courts, and that's when I feel like I'm doing something. I'm doing something.
Yeah. You know, and that's an amazing, one of the most amazing things about you, or that you've, maybe more profound things that you said, is like, when you're just focused on basic needs, not wants, you're so much more grateful for respite. You're so much more grateful for, resolution, being involved, because you're not focused on being unhappy and not getting what you can't have. Like you have accepted where you are. I mean, you said that day one when we had you on, right after the bombs started flying, and you and your wife split and went to central Ukraine, and we started to talk to you, right? It's such an incredible statement to make on behalf of somebody who's literally experiencing war, is that, hey, we've stripped our expectations and we've moved away from wants. We're focusing on needs. And within those things, we're legitimately finding some really happy moments, some incredible moments where, we're able to connect with other people. That human touch, I guess, it must mean so much more to you now. Than it did 2.5 or even like 8 months ago, when you're going through the daily motions, getting up, going to work, not being grateful for those interactions. Like, I mean, the camaraderie itself, which we've talked about, has to take on that extra special meaning, right? It must.
Yeah, exactly. This is, you reevaluate your values, you reevaluate what you used to think was a good thing and what it was a bad thing. Like, I don't know, like in the beginning of the war, when we were leaving this apartment, I thought that we would never come back. We lost it. I was consciously thinking that we would never come back. The car that I left with my friends, I thought I lost it forever. That's just material things, whatever. Okay. I was happy that we were alive. That was the only thing that I was happy about. From then, remember, Dean, I sent to you the video of my car. I was, on one hand, I was happy that it was almost okay. On the other hand, I was a bit like, whoa, the window is broken. I started feeling like, oh, this is not
Poor
so
me.
good. Yeah, but at least I had this car. Then I learned that my apartment was okay. That was just like, wow. That was already happiness. When you take something for granted, you lose it, and then you get it back.
Then the same anxiety comes back, where you're like, now I gotta fucking fix my car. But like 2 months before that, you're like, I could give a shit about my car as long as we're safe.
Right.
Interesting dichotomy. Okay, so let's get to some fun news, because there's a lot going on in Ukraine right now. Like, we've all seen the dirge of the past 6 months of the Russia creep from the east, trying to get to the south. For the past 6 months, the Ukrainian people haven't just defended themselves. You're now in a position where you're going on the counteroffensive, correct?
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that, because it started yesterday morning at 7 o'clock, and you're well schooled in what's going on. We've got a couple of maps that we'll refer to here, Alex, but talk a little bit about, in Ukraine, which you are in Irpin, just outside of Kyiv, as tucked into, the goings on that you are about the counteroffensive. What do you know about what's going on? When did it start, and how are things going? Because I'm hearing nothing but great things.
Oh, well, there has been talks about planned counteroffensive for the past several weeks, since, as I remember, July. Even there was a president's order, which somebody found quite funny. Zelensky ordered the army to take back the south of Ukraine. That was about a month ago. And somebody made fun of it, like, what? Zelensky is making an order to take it. Just take it, and that's it. So everybody was expecting, like, when is it going to start? Just to remind you that the HIMARS, those MLRS system, multi-launch rocket systems from the US, came to Ukraine in the middle of June. So two and almost and a half months ago. That's when they started to be in use. Mm-hmm. And since then, I really lost count of how many ammo depots were destroyed on the occupied territories. At least 50.
Yeah.
Or even more. That's when the counteroffensive actually started in June. That's because we destroyed the ammo depots and some military bases, and most importantly, the logistics, the bridges over the Dnieper River in Kherson Oblast. Mm-hmm. And now, once they are destroyed, the real counteroffensive started from several directions. I heard from 4 to 8 different directions in the south of Ukraine. And it all started, just like you said, yesterday morning, Ukrainian time. And that was a big news. Like, to tell you honestly, what I feel is like it's a big, like, emotional rise in the Ukrainian people that, wow, that's starting. But honestly, there is very little news. The Ukrainian government, Zelensky himself, and the Ukrainian army are saying, please keep it dark. We are not going to inform you about anything. We are just going to do our job. Just believe us, trust us, we will do the job.
So, yeah, because the coverage is the coverage is limited right now. Mm-hmm. And that was one thing that I had a note just to bring up. And it sounds like you kind of already answered my question. And again, you're not over here. We are still getting daily updates, but it seems to be it was for a long time, if I can use like the tap and the sink analogy, it was running all the time. And now it seems to be just drips and drabs of information. And one specific example, I mean, we have heard of the odd counteroffensive from the Ukraine where, a plant was blown up or whatever, right? And it was clearly the Ukrainian army that did it. But I had no idea that you guys had knocked out 50 depots, ammunition depots on the Russian side of things. So
yeah, the unofficial count was like 56.
See, have you seen any coverage of that, Dean? Because that's
just
news.
Just videos. Like, the only thing you're seeing are videos that like infantry guys and Ukrainian army cats are taking after the fact, or like people in the area that live in these occupied areas that have these ammo depots. And it's tricky, right? Because a lot of these ammo depots, Russia's just a bunch of fucking losers. They're putting them like in like residential areas. Dude, the Zaporizhia nuclear power plant, they've taken a whole bunch of like heavy weaponry and parked it like all around the power plant so that Ukrainians won't kick the shit out of them there. Like, that's how fucking greasy these guys are, right? But you're right to that point, Alex. We haven't heard very much at all. And what we do here is truly fucking incredible. Like 56 ammo depots in the last month and a half. They've taken out an airfield in Crimea, like the one that they were launching a bunch of attacks from. Like, absolutely.
I did hear about that,
which was fucking awesome. That was a huge, really awesome explosion when you see it. And that was like when Crimea happened, I was like, oh, they're doing something here. Like, the Ukrainian people have been, it's almost like they put up this front and they fought as much as they could with what they had, while in the back end they're getting HIMARS and javelins and all kinds of weaponry. I saw Bulgarian weaponry, I saw German weaponry, I saw Canadian weaponry, I saw howitzers, I saw all this stuff, and the MLRS systems, and no one knows how many they have in there, to the point where they have so many of them. What Ukraine's doing, which is fantastic, is they're actually building like wooden replicas of these multiple rocket launch systems. Like Kyiv Independent talked about it today. Washington Post: Ukraine's lures Russian missiles with wooden decoys resembling HIMARS.
Oh, wow.
These are the multiple launch systems. Ukrainian troops have tricked Russian forces into wasting expensive long-range cruise missiles on these wooden decoys resembling advanced U.S. rocket systems. Washington Post reported. Anonymous Ukraine official told the Washington Post that after a few weeks in the field, wooden decoys drew at least 10 Russian-caliber cruise missiles at $6 million apiece, by the way. An additional success led Ukraine to expand the production of the replicas for broader use. So they're like building wooden decoys everywhere. And Russia's so stupid. They've been doing this since the Second World War. I don't know if you remember. It's a great story out of Finland, and I read about it just the other day, where what they did was they built all these fires in Finland to replicate, like, lights from cities. And Russians started, back in the day, the Nazis started bombing them. And as they're bombing these fires, they were like, oh my God, there's so many people from Finland that are still here, because they were using decoys. But my point is this, is that the ingenuity of trying to prolong so they can keep hustling all this weaponry in has been fucking unbelievable. And it's been super quiet too, Alex. Like, nobody has heard a thing until we see them going on the offensive, where they're softening targets around occupied areas in Donetsk, and I believe in Kherson and Kharkiv. They're softening these targets, blowing up bridges. And I believe it's called, if I'm not mistaken, it's called a bridge game, Alex. They're playing something called a bridge game, where they're literally, like, Ukraine is taking out bridges behind massive formations of troops, where, like, the Russians are basically kettled in this area called Dnipro, if I'm not mistaken. Can you explain this to us in this area and that whole MO about what's going on in terms of who's trapped where and where this push is, as far as you know?
You can see the Dnipro River, Kherson, and a bit to the right and up. That's the Dnipro River. Mm-hmm. That's where the bridges are, and you use the right word to trap the Russians there. That was the main goal. And by the way, there is another thing that I heard, is that those talks for the past weeks about counteroffensive could have been an information attack, whose goal was to actually make Russians to move lots of forces from Donbas area in the east to the south, which they actually did. They moved lots of troops to here. To Kherson region. Now they are 20 to 25,000 soldiers who are trapped now, because all the bridges are broken. And by the way, they started to repair, and they repaired some of the bridges. But even today, there was a big boom by HIMARS into one of the bridges that destroyed this bridge again, together with, I think, several military trucks and Russians in them.
If you took a map, if you took that map right now, and that's a representation of what Russia still sort of maintains control over, right? So the Russian military control is in pink or red or whatever. That I'm a bit colorblind. And
it's
then
reddish pink, yeah,
reddish pink. Okay, if you take a map and go back 2 years, does that map does it look a lot different? Because I seem to recall seeing a map of something similar to this, but it doesn't look like they've made much progress at all, or have they? Or am I just
they
being
have
optimistic?
In fact, pre-war, Russia had occupied about, if I'm not mistaken, 3% of our territory. 3.
Okay.
Now it's 20%.
20%. Okay. All right. So it is significant. Okay.
It is. It is significant.
Yeah.
Plus,
how long were they in Crimea? The Russians have been there for quite a few years, though.
8 years.
Yeah, since March 2014.
2014. Okay.
So 6 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, 8 years. I was right the first time. 8 years. Yeah. They redrew the map, but I mean, the wonderful part about the things that we're seeing and hearing is twofold, right? Is that the Ukrainian army, the Ukrainian people want all their shit back.
Yeah.
Like this isn't, hey, we're going to beat you back out of Kherson. It's no, we're coming for Crimea. We're coming for Donetsk.
Good.
We're coming for all of it, right? That's still the goal. That's still what Zelensky's talking about, Alex?
Yes. This has been confirmed multiple times and never stepped away from it. Never. Only in the first months of the war, there was just kind of a hesitation whether we can get back to pre-war situation. But after the world learned about Bucha, where I am now, all those atrocities, just to remind you, 456 people were killed here, most of which were killed in the back of their head with a bullet and with their hands tied. Then it was like, no way back. We are gonna take all our lands.
And it's happening right now, dude. Like right now, the counteroffensive is on. And I don't even know what they have left. Like, I mean, in terms of how Russia's going to be able to fight, because not only are they trapped, apparently they're using Putin's big long table as a bridge in one area. You see this?
Where's my table?
Where's my table? Alex, you sent me not just this, but you sent me a really interesting story. Now, when Russians aren't dying, Locke, I don't know if you know this, they're banging Ukrainian sheep. Look at this. I want to play you guys a video. This is a real video. Alex, you sent this to me. Now, listen, you can get angry all you want. This guy's land has been invaded by these pricks. And when you catch one of them having sex with an animal, you put that video out. You put that out. You share it with your friends. Alex shared it with me. I want you to watch this video. It's kind of sad, I guess, but it's not really. Oh, but I want you to watch this video because the video itself, it's not graphic. It's all infrared. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
You're going to be fine.
Okay.
But the great part about this video is the Ukrainian guys that are secretly filming them, killing themselves laughing. You have to listen to this. Fucking unbelievable.
Сука, чеченец, ёбаный. Ахматила!
Oh, he must be drunk.
Did you see that? What are they saying to each other here, Alex?
They were like, "Oh, he's this is a Chechen guy. He's." Fucking Chechen guy.
Fucking Chechen.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
And then they're yelling what the Chechen are saying. Ahmad Sila. This is their motto. They are using it all the time. Ahmad Sila.
Wow.
That's unbelievable. Yeah.
That's
Dude,
like Black Mirror.
They're so lonely. They're all dying, and they're like, gotta get it in one last time before I get mowed down by some Ukrainians. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
That is fucking
Disgusting,
awesome. Yeah, disgusting. And he's still laughing. Look at him. He's like, that's disgusting. How's your family? Everybody good? Everybody good over there?
Yeah. Well,
getting through it?
Yeah, fine. Yeah.
Are you working? Do you work during the day? Like, are you still doing your job?
Yeah, sure. By the way, most of my work is outside of Ukraine, working with the US, Europe, sometimes Latin America, and I hear so much support from. I think every third person would because professionally wise, I'm a recruiter, so I do interviews. So I start an interview, and the first question, I'm like, "Where are you? Are you in Kyiv?" I'm like, "Well, I'm close to Kyiv." And they're like, "Oh, well, we support you so much. There's so many flags, Ukrainian flags around us," and that's so good to hear.
I take my dog for a walk in the neighborhood, and I'd say on our regular route, I'd 5 or 6 Ukrainian flags. It's about a 25-minute, 30-minute walk that we do. And 5 or 6 on homes, and you see it on cars all the time in Alberta, and I'm sure Dean sees it in Toronto, right across the country,
everywhere.
People are still thinking about Ukraine, and it's still top of mind. Like I said, I don't want to discourage you about the decreasing coverage. We do have some crazy news of our own here, and that stuff sort of creeps to the top of the priority list. But every day there's still updates on what's happening in the Ukraine. It isn't as aggressive as it was at the beginning of the occupation. So it's good to have you back here to get your perspective on this. It's interesting. You mentioned something, and again, I don't want to sidetrack us here from the overall theme of the conversation. Yeah. Do we get another Russian soldier bucking a donkey this time? No, but I'm curious about, because you're an interesting duck, Alex. What are you reading right now? I mean, you do need to take time to sort of escape from this. And when you were away and on your vacation there, is there anything in particular you're reading right now?
Actually, we planned to read, and I told to my wife, let's find something about about children, about some psychology of child's psychology. And she got a book by a bestseller by an American psychotherapist about children, about how to educate them. And she read that book, and I read, you won't believe it, I read 1984
Orwell
by George Orwell.
Yeah. Dystopian.
And that is so truth. True of today.
Yeah. In what ways? In what ways did you like? Because Orwell, everybody has an Orwell tag at the end of a tweet when something crazy happens, and we're all like, "Oh fuck, I can't believe it's like Orwell. It's 1984 again, man, 1984." But how did you identify with that? I'd be interested to hear.
Well, when you hear in the book that it's the war is going on, but that's an eternal war in that book, in that story. You of course relate to what's going on here. The main hero is writing about the bombing and shelling that is occurring in his city, and I'm like, okay, that's something I can relate to. And then about this the bullshit that is spread around, the total lies. It all relates to what is happening in Russia now, and I can understand.
Alex, everywhere, the whole world.
Yeah, well, the whole world. Yeah, that's right. But in Russia, it's like 100%. It's 100%. That when the war started, Putin actually kicked out all opposition media. There was just a little percentage of opposition media. Now it's completely 100% propaganda.
I think the last one left about a month ago, or there was one that was hanging on. and they finally they started to get worried for their safety, and they've pulled up stakes.
Any news on his health? Is he going to die anytime soon? Have you heard anything about Putin's health? I know last time we talked, he was shitting in a suitcase and his right arm wouldn't work. I don't know where he's at now.
Well, we all hope it will happen soon. but we all know, we know. Let's be honest. We all know now that it's not just about Putin.
No, it's not.
Yeah, you're right. You bring up an interesting question. Is there a conversation in the Ukraine about? I mean, obviously, listen, we're going to be dancing in the streets if Putler passes on to the next world, and hopefully that's sooner than later. But we have this conversation about local politics, not what you're dealing with, but it's always, the fear is always not necessarily so much about the guy that's running the ship or running it, into the ground, but it's the potential of the guy sitting in the wings. Is there a conversation about that in the Ukraine, about the succession plan for Russia? And is the guy waiting in the wings, is he better? Is he a better option than Putler, or maybe is he just as terrifying of the prospect of him taking over? Is that conversation happening in the Ukraine?
Well, yeah, of course we are thinking, we are just trying to project what's going to happen, but any other person in his gang is probably the same, or could be worse. Like Patrushev, we mentioned this guy once. He could be worse. He actually started showing up within the past several months with really fascist, Nazist slogans. The previous president, who is actually a puppet, he has never been a real president, Medvedev.
Yeah.
He was just a puppet.
Yeah, he just also brought him in between, Putin's first, time around as the head honcho. They brought this guy in. He was still the head honcho. They just pretended he wasn't, right, Medvedev? Yeah. And then he changed all the rules so he can be ruler for life and shit like that. Like, it's fucked in Russia.
Yeah, but he's just, he's just saying such bullshit, really Nazist bullshit. So no way. They all have to be swept away. They are all war criminals.
Yeah, any supporter of it, right? Any supporter is a war criminal, and it doesn't matter what the person is. If you were supported, go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead, Alex.
No. I continue reflecting that we just have to be prepared. It's going to last for a long, long time.
You think it will? Do you think it? I've heard. You think this will go through the winter? Think this will be yeah.
In fact, there was a poll. I saw somewhere a poll among Ukrainians. When the question was, when do you think the war will end? Of course, it's not about when it will end, about the expectations of people. Most of people, if I remember correctly, about 60% thought it was 2023. Mm-hmm. That's good. That means that most of Ukrainians are not so naive to think that it will end soon, all this year.
Yeah.
I think it will continue further.
Mm-hmm. What kind of coverage did the death of the daughter of, they call him the brains, or the what was
brain?
Putin's brain
is her name.
Yeah. What kind of coverage did that get in the Ukraine? And do you think somebody from the Ukraine is responsible for that?
Well, it was a big news. It was a big news of the day and the next day, I guess. But I like what Zelensky actually answered at the press conference when he was asked about it. He said, I don't care. This happened in another country, at this different country. I don't care. Mm-hmm. That's not my deal.
Yeah. And I think since then, some Russian separatists actually claim responsibility for it. So even though the Putin's still trying to tell everybody Ukraine did it, real Russian separatists, some guys who were on the inside are yeah, by the way, that wasn't Ukraine, that was us. Long live Ukraine.
And they meant to get her father. They meant to get her father, right? And I think Zelensky also said, and I could be mishearing this, but or I misheard it, I should say. I think he did say something like, that's what Russians do. We don't do that. I think there was another statement that was, added to that comment about it's not our problem, it's their problem. But yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, the thing, when we see stuff like that, we're cheering so desperately for you guys, the Ukraine as a whole, that when we see that kind of stuff, we automatically go, look at, they got one, right? Like they missed and she definitely had she was wearing her ugly hats too, right? Like with misinformation and
she was
propagation
a sympathizer, Yeah, she's
definitely. So, it's definitely part of the problem. But that's on our end. We were like, okay, well, I hope. And now it turns out that Ukraine wasn't involved. But we're kind of like in the background going, are they actually trying to get them?
Yes. It didn't matter. Great. That's how I felt about Crimea when you saw the aftermath of the Ukraine literally taking out the Crimean airstrip. I'm like, holy fuck, they're hitting them at home. And the funny part of that video too, Alex, which I mean, there was a resort that was across the bay from where they hit it, and all the Russians that were hanging out at the resort. Did you see the conga line of people grab their towels and literally run for their cars and drive as fast as they could back to Russia? They're like, holy fuck, they're coming for us here now. This is unbelievable.
Yeah, and that was not the only one. There was dozens of hits at Crimea that happened within the past month. Like a month or 1.5 months ago, it was unbelievable. It would have been like, what? And now it's like Crimean people now know that Ukraine is coming. Do you know that? It was funny. I should have sent it to you. On the Independence Day, some hackers actually hacked video cameras, those two-ways video cameras, in Crimea, and they played Ukrainian anthem in shopping malls.
Oh, that's awesome.
So good. And you could see people like, what?
You know what?
They're coming.
The creativity of the Ukrainians.
The trolling's all world.
Is fantastic. It is
fucking awesome.
Yeah, every time I hear a story about what you guys have done, it just, I'm like, I hope other people are appreciating. Like, that's just this subtle little fuck you.
Fuck you.
Like, yeah, it is so, but it's beautiful. It's just on some levels, it's just so inspiring that you guys are going through what you're going through, but there's still, you've created this environment where you're still able to think about, oh, okay, all right, we're going to play the Ukrainian national anthem in all the malls. That's awesome. I love that.
Yeah, I'll give you another example of creativity.
Record a guy fucking a sheep.
No, that's another one that I heard today.
There's that sheep fucker again. It's that Russian sheep fucker one more time. There you go.
So a Russian sniper used a night vision to find places to shoot at. Ukrainians turned on an iron. When the iron is hot, in the night vision, you see that it's a hot spot. So the Russian sniper shot at that iron, and that's how he revealed his position.
And they killed him?
Yeah.
Turn an iron on.
That's a best. This is the trolling. Like, these guys are fighting for their country, for their lives, their families, and in between, when they get a few minutes of downtime,
having a little bit of fun.
They're like, "Hey guys, do you want to do something fun?
Yeah.
Let's put on the Ukrainian national anthem in Russian malls all around Crimea and all those different places."
Every time you're on, there's a couple of examples of just little to the Russian. Yeah, overall,
it all matters, dude.
It's refreshing.
It all matters. Last question I would have for you, and then we'll let you go, Alex. I know you're busy. Alex Dayrabekov. Follow him on Twitter, by the way, at Dayrabekov on Twitter. Please do so. He is so cool to follow. The stories, the videos he does with Artie. We've also got a couple of shirts you can buy too. We're going to send you some money. We said we'd do it at the end of the summer. Slava Ukraine shirts in the shop. You can support Alex. He's got all of his stuff on his Twitter feed, right? You can get access to how you can support the war effort, how you might be able to help. Do you have any other, before we get to this last question I had about Zelensky, do you have any other ways that people can donate? Because I know you're still doing some of that. Or where can people donate that you find to be a worthwhile venture?
If you are interested in direct help to those victims of the of the war crimes, DM me and I will help you to connect with those people, and so that you know that your money goes specifically to this person, and we will make sure that it is spent for for windows or roofs or or food or just some supplies for the school that is starting now. Just DM me.
At Dayrabekov, Dayrabekov, on Twitter is where you can find him. And if you follow him, he'll follow you back, and you can DM him. He's got his Facebook up there as well, where you can check out some of the stuff he's doing. I want to ask you about Zelensky, and I'll let you go. Now, a lot of people prior to this, two different factions, sometimes three, whether you like the guy or not. We only get the sound bites, we get the magazine covers, we get the speeches to certain governments around the world. You seem to be, because you weren't supportive of him prior to this, obviously the war starts out and you are supportive of him. What's your opinion of him today? What's your opinion, or maybe the average opinion of Zelensky from Ukrainians? Obviously fighting for your life, so there's a ton of support for that guy. There's a ton of support for his government, whether you liked his governance or not prior to the war. But how do you square Zelensky in terms of reputation, and not just you, but what's the general consensus in Ukraine right now?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, I changed my mind completely when the war started. I think he is a real hero. I think he is a real international recognized leader of the country, of the nation. However, as everybody else, he is a human and he can make mistakes. And what is good about Ukraine is that we have an opposition that can criticize him and that can make sure that he does not make so big mistakes. And he's not a god. Ukrainians are very critical, and this is very good that they criticize, because this is how we can really control the government. So that's how we are different from Russians. Russians is a totally different nation. They have been for hundreds of years. They have been used to live under a power of an emperor, of a tsar, of a king. Ukrainians are totally different. Ukrainians are not like this. We are naturally a democratic country inside. And so Zelensky is a hero now, is a good one, but there will be better in the future, I'm sure.
What's interesting about that is Alex, it highlights why you guys are fighting, right? You're fighting to maintain that freedom to have the ability to criticize your leaders and have that freedom to pick who you want as a country to lead your country. And I think that's important to say out loud, that and I appreciate your honesty. I don't know if I've said that to you in person, but I think that's the thing that really shocks me about you, and it happens every time you're on. I really I look for that in the people in my life. I look for that honesty, and the fact that you're able to share these types of things with us and be truthful with us and be fucking real is it's a blessing to know you, my friend. A blessing.
Yeah. Always, dude. Always great to have you on. Always great to see your face. Always great to see a DM from you. Always good to talk to you. And more importantly,
and keep sending us the sheep fucker videos.
Yeah. More importantly, always good to see the sheep fucking videos.
I enjoy the laugh of those guys.
He's really going for it. He's really going for it, that Russian soldier. Look at him go. He's really oh, someone's watching.
He's running away.
That is amazing.
Alex Dayrabekov at Dayrabekov on Twitter. His last name. Give him a follow. Great to see you, my very good friend. It is wonderful to catch up with you. It's great to see your face. Great to watch you smile. Great to hear that you got a vacation from the war. Not many people can say that. So way to go. Yeah. And stay in touch, and we'll be in touch again in the next week or two.
Thank you, my friends. Thank you.
Slava Ukraine.
Heroям slava.
We'll talk to you soon. Bye, Alex. There you go. Oh.
Good guy.
Isn't that unbelievable? I missed him. I love that guy.
We haven't had him on for about a month, right? Yeah.
Yeah. No, he was probably sick of us. He was like, I mean, you want to come on? He's like, I'm going on vacation. See ya. I'm like, all right.
Again, just a beauty. Just a fucking beauty. Like, yeah.
Isn't he? Yeah.
I don't know if that struck you as much as it did me. We're so caught up in our day-to-day sort of battle to, I don't know, save enough money for the next fucking iPhone. It's so interesting to hear somebody who's in the middle of a war that has the courage to admit to us that before the war, he was dealing with depression.
Yeah.
And it's gone away. The war starts and it's gone away.
Mm-hmm.
Because he has purpose now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how fucking significant was that for you?
Huge.
That was massive. It
almost makes you feel selfish.
I was just like, oh my God, that's amazing. This guy is going through hell. There's bombs dropping around, and at night they can hear bombs dropping. Mm-hmm. He's got to live with that. And you would think his life would be hell.
Mm-hmm.
But he's actually feeling better in the war.
Mm-hmm.
That's fucking amazing.
It's the difference, I think, between wants and needs, right? You know, in a civilized society, we're taught to live according to the things we don't have, right? Got to get the things we don't have. Got to go get that. Our wants aren't being met. And when our wants aren't met, we act like petulant kids. And then we wonder why everybody else has better stuff than us, right? Why does that guy's life look better than mine? Why does this guy? Why is that guy? Why is this guy? Why can't I have that car? Why can't I have that? Why does my career look like this and that guy is a fucking loser? Why? And when you take everything away from somebody and they got to focus on living, like just surviving, it's this incredible reset of what's important, right? It's this reset of, oh, hold on. I don't need any of those things to be happy, right? I just need to be safe today. I just got to go and find myself a bite to eat. I got to get my family something to eat. I got to pay the rent. That's it. You've literally removed all the snowflake bullshit from your life when you remove everything from your life. And these people have had everything taken from them. Families, kids, wives, relationships, picnics, days out, concerts, soccer, hockey, everything. Everything's gone. They removed everything from them, the Russians. And now it's like food, clothing, medical treatment, protecting your family, that's it. That's all they have. And so that's what they do. And it's amazing what melts away because you're never yearning for anything after that. There's no yearning in your needs, right? As long as your needs are being met. And a lot of those people, their needs aren't being met. His are. And so that's where he lives, right? And someone said something to me a long time ago. There are 7 billion people on this planet who would love to have your life. Like fucking love to have it at its worst. At its worst. And that's what he's talking about. He's talking about, I got nothing. Thought my apartment was gone. Thought my car was gone. I got nothing. But here I am today. And I'm so happy to be here today. I'm so happy to have purpose, as you pointed out. And that is fucking unbelievable. We're such a group of haves and have-nots in this country that we focus on all the wrong things. Aren't we?
Fuck, we're wimps. We are. Yeah. We are definitely, yeah.
Yeah, we really are. Anyway.
And so cool to see them fighting back too. Like,
I know, right?
It's awesome. I don't want to get too excited about, you know, the potential, but the fact that they're you know what, Zelensky has the balls to step up and go, all right, no, we're taking it back.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. We're gonna take it all back.
It's awesome.
Like they lost their opportunity to fucking back out. Russia did, and then they're like, okay, let's talk about this. You're fucked now. You're fucked. Those guys are fucked. And you know what? We've got guys running around this province and your province and every other province, literally assaulting and accosting people because they have different views. Like this guy from yesterday. Remember this guy?
Right there. Hurry, that's Christia.
Christia. Yes. What the fuck are you doing in Alberta? You fucking traitorous fucking bitch. Get the fuck out of this province.
You don't belong here.
Remember that? This is Alex is dodging fucking cruise missiles, and he's like, "I'm so happy to be here today, guys." That guy hates his fucking life because it's
perspective,
politics, like just the stupidest people in the world. By the way, I found the American version of him. You want to see it? It's fucking awesome.
Do I?
Same dumb person. I think you do. Yeah, it's maybe one of my favorite videos. This is a massive Trump supporter, by the way. They're all the same cat.
Me again. Hey, Joe Biden, you don't know nothing. You're liable, you're a hornets, and you're a devil, frickin' evil inside of you. You got remarks at our Americans? I don't think so. You need to shut your mouth up because you don't know what you're saying. But our Americans will stand up and we will bring Donald Trump back in there. And you doesn't matter what. You need to get out.
Hey. Those people are
I'm worried. I'm very concerned.
Are you? I'm not really. It's a big problem, dude. Like I said, we've got some angry white guys in this country. Got lots of people who are angry white guys. But we got a lot of angry white guys in this country. A lot. Not just white guys. White girls, too. This lady comes to us.
That guy has a head injury, though. That there's something going on there. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure they all do to some extent.
Thank God he's able to use TikTok, though.
I found the female version of him. She's from Ontario. RCMP have literally just been called on this cat. This is what people are doing with their privilege in this country. Legitimately. Watch this.
Where did I support Justin Trudeau? I support my country, absolutely. But I don't support that piece of shit. No. And I still stand my ground on believing, and my opinion, that it would be fan-fucking-tastic if one day Justin Trudeau just poof and got assassinated. But you have yourself a great day. Honk, honk.
Nice, huh?
See, we live in a world now. Can you imagine, like 30 years ago, if
someone's going to be looking in her bum in like 5 hours, by the way.
Yeah, but
someone's gonna look
that happens. Dean, that happens all the time.
I know.
There's a bunch of people that are not allowed to be on Facebook right now because they threatened to kill a public official. Like, it's happening. It's a regular occurrence. They almost can't keep up with it.
No. And Elliot, the guy who called Chrystia Freeland, Elliot McDavid, that called her the C word and the B word.
What's up with, like, is there been a development
investigating him right? Yes, RCMP are investigating him right now as well. RCMP are also investigating this one. I'd love for you to have a look at her Twitter handle, by the way. It's everything. Divorce court.
Where did I support Justin Trudeau?
3.0.
I support my country, absolutely.
Shocker. Some guy kicked her to the curb.
Absolutely. But I don't support that piece of shit. No. And I still stand my ground on believing, and my opinion, that it would be fan-fucking-tastic if one day Justin Trudeau just poof and got assassinated.
So here's...
But you have yourself a great day.
Here's
honk,
what's
honk.
even crazier about that. Like, and then God forbid, and I don't like the guy, but God forbid something happened to Justin.
Yeah.
On the day that she released that video.
Or ever.
Do you not think that somebody might, like, let's say it happened under mysterious circumstances, you're gonna be in trouble.
She's in trouble now.
Yeah, she should be.
There are literal agents going to see TikTok.divorce.court 3.0. That's her handle on there.
That
going to
does
see
that
her
mean
right
she's
now.
been divorced 3 times?
I'm guessing.
Sounds like
Shocker.
a keeper.
Shocker that hot, angry number hasn't been able to hang on to one of them fish. Shocker. Divorce court 3.0. I've been married 3 times, divorced 3 times. Why?
That's what that means.
Because my brain is full of porridge. That's her problem. Her brain's full of racist porridge. All of these people, they all share the same similar traits, right?
Did you ever hear was there any bit backlash on the podcast we did about Jamie Saleh and Theo Fleury?
Nope.
The Fire and Ice conference? No?
No, why?
No. All right. Because I know that Lynn signed me up for a consultation for counseling from Jamie Saleh, and I haven't heard back from her yet.
For her life coaching course? Jamie
Yeah, he
Saleh's
signed me
life
up for life coaching.
Speaking of an idiot who's been divorced more times than ever because they're an idiot, that would be Jamie Saleh. Let me know if she hits you back and it's like, hey, let me set up a consult.
I will. I've been waiting patiently for a return email.
Yeah. Fuck. But all these people, we just have Alex on, right? He's in the middle of a war. He's like, life's good, guys. I got myself 1 beer today. You know, I went swimming with my son. It was perfect. You know, I went into the woods, took a week-long break from being attacked by the Russian military. You got these fucking jagoffs going, got to kill the prime minister. That's the only way my life will be better.
Janice is on her talk threatening to kill the prime minister who virtue signals.
Yeah. Doesn't like him. Someone's going to look in her rectum for sure. That's it for us. I can't wait to see what they find. They probably find a tennis ball. Maybe the end of a shampoo bottle. Oh, before I let you go too. Jays won last night. They Marcus Stroman on the mound tonight. Before we go, lots of fun stuff happening in the stands at the Rodgers Center. Wanted to play this more sex.
Oh, it's Looney Dog night too. Looney Dogs night.
Looney Dog Tuesday.
If you're going to the game.
Too bad you're not here. You could cheap out and buy us all a hot dog.
By the way, I've been promoting that on the locker room now. I know it sounds funny to be promoting that, but every time we do a Jays update and it's Tuesday, I always promote Looney Dog night because of this podcast. I have a numerous Ontario listening base now for the locker room in the mornings.
Yeah. Well, if you make it, you might see some of this. This happened at the game, I think 3 days ago.
Why is this a thing? This seems to be more and more.
It's a huge thing. Bang it. Yeah. There's one in Oakland where some guy got head. This happened yesterday. Pardon me. Happened yesterday during the Cubs game. It was some interleague sex. Watch this.
Wow. Well, at least they went to get a little bit of privacy up.
You guys and your sex. Hey, you can't wait till you get home. Just hang in there. It's like another extra 20 minutes. Where they've been kicked out for life, by the way. They're never allowed back in a Jays game. Not that they give a shit. They probably had that on their bucket list. Let's see if we can get kicked out of a Jays game for life.
Whatever happened to streaking? Just streak the field.
I don't know. Skirt up around her waist. They had to blur it out. That's how much nudity they had. You got a shot of the business. They saw the business. Saw the P go in the V. And they're like, fuck, we got to blur it out. We're going to put it on social media. Anyway, thanks for doing this, dude.
Foul balls.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks, man.
All right. Thank you, brother. We'll see you tomorrow. We got
You
a
got
guy
it.
by the name of Randy King on. We're talking about self-defense and how to disarm the police.
No, we're not. We're talking about how to disengage with
We're
people
talking
who are
about
fucking
that.
crazy.
We're
How to
talking
disarm
about
the
that
police?
because this is a trend down in the States, and Randy wants to address that.
Yeah, okay. All right.
But
I'm
these
excited to talk
videos,
about it.
instructional videos they're sharing down in the U.S. on how to disarm the police.
Oh,
I
this is
can't
that
think of
Freeman
a
on the land
worse.
shit.
Yeah, I can't think of a worse idea.
Yeah, I can't wait to see the videos of them trying that in real life, like the practical application of it, because all those guys are getting shot in the head. That'll be fun to watch too. Anyway, thanks for doing this, dude. Appreciate it.
Have a good one.
You too. Lachlan Cross, 957 Cruise FM in Edmonton is where you can find him. Follow him at Twitter too, at Lachlan Cross. Thank you to Alex Dayrabekov, live from Irpin, Ukraine, for joining us. Thank you to Nurse Olenka Lyle for coming on the program today to talk about Scrotox. Thank you for joining in. Really appreciate it. Don't forget, you can go to deanblundell.com, sign up for a newsletter there. That would be a lot of fun. You can also help donate to keep this business going. There's a huge coffee thing on the front page if you want to donate to us monthly, one time, doesn't matter. We love you. We do this for you. And if you want to do something for us, we'd appreciate it. Help support us by doing that, or just reading what we have, or just sharing our content. We appreciate it. Subscribe to everything we have at deanblundell.com, or you can also find us on YouTube, Dean Blundell Show on YouTube, Dean Blundell TV on Twitch. If you want to see these shows and podcasts live. Also, you can get us on the audio version, Apple, Spotify, Google, etc., wherever you get your fine podcasts, but everything at deanblundell.com. Thank you all for doing this. Really appreciate it. Thanks to our friends at kivlaw.ca. If you're looking for a great defense attorney, if you're looking for legal representation, guys who show up, guys who tell you the truth, guys who get the job done, guys and girls, you go to kivlaw.ca. Super simple. Robert at kivlaw.ca. Outstanding legal issue, accused of doing something you didn't do. kivlaw.ca. Super simple. Go there today. Or again, Robert at kivlaw.ca. Ed at Ed's Fine Imports and his Gitch. We wear them. So should you. Luxury boxer briefs, pouch in the front. Can't miss. I love them. The only underwear I wear. You can do the same thing by going to edsfineimports.com. Order online. He'll send you 4. Order 3. You get the 4th for free. Promo code GITCH3. That's all you have to use. Super simple, massive online store as well. He's got John Varvatos. He's got 34 Heritage. He's got jeans. He's got blazers. He's got formal wear. He's got casual wear. He's got stuff for the kids, young men. Hard to find clothes for the young fellas. You got a little guy in your life? This is the place. That's fineimports.com. And last but not least, Easy Auto Financial for getting people into cars. These guys are like financing ninjas. Sometimes you may have made some mistakes with your credit in the past. These are the guys that don't care. They go and get you your financing and you do not pay for it. Not only that, they take care of all the legwork, all the forms, sending you to get the car you want with the financing you have, but for free financing. Yes, please. EasyAutoFinancial.ca. Again, EasyAutoFinancial.ca. And there is no obligation when you go to EasyAutoFinancial.ca as well. And they'll get back to you ASAP. Need a car? EasyAutoFinancial.ca. Thanks. Have a great day. See you tomorrow. Randy King, self-defense expert, de-escalation expert. Oh, he's tomorrow. See you at 3 o'clock, everybody. Bye.